And let me just ask you, because as you say, a lot of people are angry, right? And you're talking about the need for a conversation about race, and you're saying that in a very thoughtful way. But you also agree with the verdict, right? The verdict in the Zimmerman trial.
Yes, I think that George Zimmerman, Mr. Zimmerman, was racial profiling Trayvon Martin. He was wrong in that. I think he was over-aggressive. But I think at some point they switched places, and Mr. Martin became aggressive. And look, I watch CNN every day. I pay close attention to the trial. I don't go by sound bites and all this other stuff that you hear on the side. I paid very close attention to the trial. But just on the evidence alone, I think the verdict was fair. Just on the evidence, not he was wrong for racial profiling Trayvon Martin. He was wrong for following Trayvon Martin. But let me tell you something. Just on the evidence alone, I thought that the verdict was fair.
And let me ask you about that, because you know the juror, I mean, you know, you saw her on CNN, sorry, you know, she said race never came up in the jury's deliberations. Now, you know, I got to emphasize, that's one juror. As you know, the other jurors have distanced themselves from her more generally, but that's what she's saying happened in that sequestered jury. But as you know, people like Al Sharpton are saying the verdict was an atrocity. They're using words like that. Do you think race played a role in the decision? I mean, there are those who say, well, look, this was a, you know, a 6-person jury. 5 of them were white. 1 of them was black and Hispanic. And they're now saying that race played a role in the verdict. But you're sitting here on the show as a black man saying, well, I think it was the right verdict.
Well, I think race played a factor in Mr. Zimmerman's mind. But as far as just the evidence, I agree with the verdict on just the evidence alone. I think, like I said earlier, I think Mr. Zimmerman was racial profiling Trayvon Martin. I think he was over-aggressive. But I think only 2 people know what happened. But just looking at the evidence alone, at some point Trayvon Martin started punching on Mr. Zimmerman. And sadly, he shot him. But just on the evidence alone, I can't disagree with the verdict.